Hey guys, so welcome back to another lesson on public speaking. In our previous lesson, we learned how to write a speech, and today we're going to learn how to deliver a speech in a short, instructive video. We spoke about how to write a speech, and that's all great, but you need to know how to say a speech. And this is often a very daunting part for a lot of people. They've written this excellent speech, they're great writers, but saying it in front of people just really isn't their style. But it really doesn't have to be. You can train yourself in such a way that this really isn't a difficult thing for you. Do you remember our previous lesson? Do you remember what we learned? Well, I can tell you exactly what we learned. We learned how to write a speech and exactly what is important when writing a speech. Now, ensure that you have your speech in front of me as we are doing this lesson together. What could the repercussions be of you not presenting your speech in the correct manner? Will you look like this guy and or will your audience look like this guy? This is basically what we're trying to avoid here. Now, presenting your speech is unbelievably important. That's why the following tips are amazing if you want to make sure that your speech is a great success. So, why is it so important to present a speech correctly? Well, it makes sure that your audience knows exactly what's going on, and it makes sure that you get your message across clearly and concisely. Now, don't worry, we're going to go through each step together. Make sure you have your speech in front of you so you can try these. The first step is to know your speech. Don't get frustrated in front of the podium and not know what you're talking about. If you want to be a successful public speaker, you have to know what you are talking about, and you cannot talk what you do not know about. So that's the first step. Know your speech, backwards and forwards. Know what you're talking about. So the second step after you've learned your speech is to make sure that your speech is available on cue cards. Now, this is important for two reasons. First of all, cue cards help you to feel a little bit safer when saying your speech so you know you won't forget them. And second of all, the right size cue cards are also very important for you to keep in one hand, and then the other hand is open for demonstrating purposes, and you can do something with it, maybe show something with it. And this all happens because of cue cards. Now, cue cards for me are a little safety mechanism that I enjoy having. I never actually read off of them, but just having them there makes me remember my speech so much better. Right, so the next step is posture makes perfect. And here we have a man that will be doing exactly what many of you will be doing while you are saying your speeches. And he is presenting in front of his colleagues, as you can see here. But what I want you to note is his posture. And posture, ladies and gentlemen, makes perfect. Note how nice and straight his neck is and how nice and strengthened his back is. This is going to make his chest open and make sure he can speak in a fluent manner and that there aren't any stifled or unclear words. And the point of the fact is, if you look good, then you will feel good. That's just how it works. You've got yourself sorted out, you know your speech, you have your cue cards, you've got a great posture. Now, what is the next step? Here you are with your good posture and your cue cards, and you know your speech. The next step is getting this lot to listen to you. Now, this is actually part of not only the writing process, but also the presenting process, because you have to engage your audience. You can do this by posing a rhetorical question, perhaps making a little joke, or even saying something personal about yourself. This will make sure that your audience is engaged and not disinterested like this poor man over here, and make sure that they are constantly sitting upright in their seats and listening to you. That is essential. It's very important. A lot of people say just stare at the wall. I think that's very disempowering. I think look straight at your audience. Conquer them. They are there to be taught or convinced by you. Make sure you engage with them. So now you've learned what to do for your speech to be successful. Now let's look at what not to do. And please don't look like this young lady over here. We want our speech to be successful, so avoid these things. First of all, don't fidget. Now, don't fiddle around with your papers, and that just makes you look like you don't know what you're doing and that you're not confident at all. Second of all, don't look down. Once again, this comes back to confidence. Own your flaw. And then also, if you look down, that tells your audience that you don't know your speech, and you didn't take the effort to get to know your speech, and you don't want to take the effort to get to know them. So they will be disinterested in your speech. Then don't read your speech off your cue cards. Very important. If they wanted someone to come do prepared reading, I'm sure they'd ask for it. But do not read your speech off your cue cards. And lastly, don't get distracted if the person in the back is talking, or if maybe there's people walking outside. Try and stay focused on your goal. This will show the room that you are in control.